Reading the report was quite a painful exercise. It's not something that's easy. It's re-traumatizing, reliving the moments.
Mamadi Camara, a black man who was wrongfully arrested and detained by Montreal police in January, was not a victim of racial profiling. But a botched investigation contributed to him spending 6 days in jail, according to a report released on Friday by a Quebec Superior Judge.
He talked a lot about the investigation, that there was a great deal of exculpatory and important evidence that was available within the first hours of the arrest. And these elements were not taken into account. And that's quite problematic. And he saw many errors that were made.
Judge Louis Dion was appointed by the Quebec government to conduct an investigation into the conduct of the SPVM after a police officer was attacked from behind and disarmed.
I feel like his investigated was quite narrow on the subject of racial profiling, which is quite complicated. Discrimination at large is a quite complex concept.
Camara, the man who called the police, ended up being the one wrongfully detained. He was eventually exonerated.
How can you explain that so many evidence pointed toward another suspect? And many police officers doubted the version of the police officers that was attacked. This happened in the first 2 days. There was a video showing that there was someone else on the scene. How can you explain that he was detained for 5 days after that?
Given the circumstances of the case, the judge concluded that the Crown Prosecutor's Office were justified in arresting and charging Camara.
It's not the fact that he was arrested and he's a black man. It's the fact that they kept him, they accused him, they kept him detained, even though they had a lot of proof showing that it was not him. He collaborated and they still detained him for 5 days. That's where the discrimination is at play. It's not at the moment of the arrest, or it's not only at the moment of the arrest.
The victim's lawyer agrees with some of the elements of the report, indicating that it found flaws in the Montreal Police's investigation, including the mismanagement of potential evidence. The report calls on the force to improve on processes for future cases.
In that investigation, no one confronted the police officers, the witnesses, so it's only a one-side investigation. On the contrary, a trial, there are lawyers that can ask questions, that can, go further. And so that's why for us it's really important that there's a trial in this case.
Camara is still suing the Montreal Police Department, the Directeur des Poursuites Criminelles et Pénales, and the City of Montreal for $1.2 million.
This was a one-side administrative investigation. So it is not a judgment, even though it was, the investigator is a sitting judge. So it doesn't have any impact on the lawsuit.
In Montreal, Brittany Henriques, City News.